Well, most people have heard about postpartum depression occurring in moms during the first few months following birth. Well, however, research right now is showing that stay-at-home moms are becoming depressed at 4 years rather than in the earlier days. This is interesting. With more on this and what is called caregiver burnout and how moms can better balance their lives, we have Dr. Scott Carroll joining us here from UNM. Thank you so much, Dr. Scott Carroll, for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is interesting. What is it? Let's start with what exactly is caregiver burnout.
So caregiver burnout is a situation where sort of the unrelenting demands of the caregiving just wears away at the person slowly over time.
You get burned out.
Exactly.
Okay. And stay-at-home moms, you're saying, are getting
Right.
this.
We've known about this in people taking care of like elders with dementia, and now we're starting to see that the same effect is happening, in moms who are staying at home with young children, and it's related to both the length of time. So it peaks around 4 years of age, sort of right before they go to kindergarten. Numbers of children, so it directly goes up with each child, so the risk increases with the number. And then also if the children tend to be either hyperactive or just have like sort of a difficult personality or temperament, these all can add to it. So when you start putting all these things together and the sort of unrelenting nature of it, it can get to people after a while.
Yeah, and I can only imagine this may be causing some resentment towards the children, maybe even the spouse, right?
Oh yes, well, there's this sort of the jealousy of like, they get to go to work and I wish I could, but I'm stuck here all day long like this, never getting a break. But you can go to work, you get a lunch break, you can leave work.
True story. I got to share this with you, with you all. Sometimes I feel like a stay-at-home mom because I work such an early shift, and I'm fortunate enough to be home, early in the morning and spend the rest of the day with my kids, which I love. Yesterday, my husband goes to the gym for a couple of hours, and I started feeling that, here, you get a break. I felt like I didn't. And so I get it. I can see that can easily set in those feelings of, bothersome resentment. Interesting. All right. So bottom line though, what are some, Dr. Carroll, what are some things that us mommies need to focus on to achieve more of a balanced life that can help?
Well, you have to focus on your self-care. So some of the first things to think about, the thing I say is sleep. You've got to get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, the rest doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And while everything else is good, not getting enough sleep will defeat every other effort you make. So that's the first thing. And try to get, 8 to 9 hours.
Okay.
But 7 is still better than 6.
Sure.
So, and as tempting it is to have those few minutes you have alone when, the baby's asleep to go check your Facebook or go do whatever.
Sure.
Your sleep is probably more valuable.
Yeah.
So then I also say, diet, eating healthy. When you get tired and burn out, the first temptation is just grab whatever is there or junk food. You don't feel like cooking.
Junk food, yeah.
But junk food we know actually negatively affects mood. So people actually get more depressed the more they eat it.
That could be a standalone segment, by
Yes.
the way. We can do a different segment on that, but that's interesting. That's a great point.
So healthy foods. You also think about things like multivitamins, making sure you have a balanced diet. Fish oil has been shown to help mood. So those are all helpful as well.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting. Okay, so sleep, make sure you eat well. And
exercise.
Maybe some vitamins, exercise.
Right, exercise and
Fantastic.
get out in the sun. So go get that stroller out and go for it.
I automatically feel so much better when I'm out in the sun, even with the kiddos. So that there's a lot to be said about that for sure.
Oh, absolutely, because sunshine actually helps mood too, believe it or not. You also think about things like making sure that you take care of your own health. So a lot of women, because of the hormonal effects of pregnancy, actually develop thyroid problems. And thyroid is very easy to treat, but you have to go see your doctor to diagnose it and get it treated. So especially if you're doing everything right, but you still feel really sluggish and tired, it could be a thyroid problem.
Interesting. And lastly, I want to point out you're a big advocate for scheduling time away from the family. That also is very important.
Right, and you need time away from children. You need time with adults. So you have adult conversation. You learn what's going on in the world. So I say things like, make sure you have a regular date night. Get the babysitter or family to watch your children, and go spend some time with your honey, because that's the foundation of your family, is that relationship. So you've got to take care of it. You can't spend all your time focused on your children.
Wow, Dr. Carroll, thank you so much for giving us some advice. It's great stuff. I really appreciate it on a personal level. For a recap on what Dr. Carroll just talked about, and to reach Dr. Carroll to learn more about this very interesting and important subject, go to our website. We've got a link there and a bunch of information. Just go to CASA.com, click on the CASA blog.